All right, let's build a horizontal bar chart. So you're going to drag and drop the day dimension onto your rows shelf. And then next you want to notice the Show Me tab prompts you to add more data. And so right now we have the beginnings of a table. And it's going to tell you that to build a table you need to add at least one measure field. So you see the table thing opens up. We actually don't want to build a table, but it's going to, based on what you do, it's going to start to suggest visualizations that are available to you and start telling you how to, what extra things you would need to make that happen. Alright, and you notice that when you drag and drop a field over to a shelf, it turns into a pill shape. If it's blue, it's generally a dimension, and if it's green, it's generally a measure. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is drop the loans in-house, not in-house measure to the, I'm going to start just calling it loans. We're going to drop the loans field to the columns shelf, which is the top one right there. And as you do this, you're going to see a couple of things. Well, number one, it's going to turn pill-shaped. Number two, it's going to turn green because it's a measure. But it's also going to add the word sum, S-U-M, in front of the field name. So as you drag and drop a measure onto your shelf, it's going to add the word sum right here in front of your, what was previously the name of your field. And right now, if you look at Show Me, it displays all the new charts that you can create. So you see that not all of them are grayed out. About 11 of them are ones that you can actually use right now. And you've got everything you need for a horizontal bar chart, and it sticks a horizontal bar chart right here. Alright, so besides having a horizontal bar chart, right now we can create all the vises that are not grayed out, and based on the dimensions and measures that we selected thus far, we can create these 11 different types of visualizations. One of the advantages of Tableau is the drag and drop feature allows you to quickly shift from one type of chart to another pretty painlessly. And you remember in Google you have to figure out the right package and the correct visualization in order to change from one type of chart to another. But here you just kind of basically drag and drop dimensions and measures in there, and then you can select from your options. And we only did one dimension and one measure, and already we have 11 different kinds of things that we can create. So it's pretty easy. Alright, you probably want to resize your visualization. You can see it was kind of smushed a little bit right there. You can do that by clicking on a border. The tricky part is it's very challenging because the border lines are invisible, and you have to move your mouse around until your pointer looks like this little double arrow, and it's a lot more difficult than it should be. It's pretty challenging to resize. So I'm going to show you a quicker way to do that in just a minute. So the area highlighted here is called the Marks card. M-A-R-K-S. It allows you to change things like the color, size, and labels in your chart, and you can also drag and drop dimensions and measures onto each of these cards to apply the various changes. So what we're going to do first is we're going to click on the color card right here, and you can do things like select the color you want right from the palette and the opacity, and then you can change things like the border that would go around the bars, and there's also a halo effect. And it's really easy to change the color of the bars just by selecting colors from the palette, and if you don't find one you like, there's a link that says more colors and you can get more. Here's a use for the measure names field. So if you drag the measure names field over to the size card, you're going to get a pop-up window with the slider, and if you move the slider left and right you can control the size or thickness of your bars. And the label card does exactly what it says. So if you want labels for your horizontal bar, you can drag and drop the loans field measure onto the labels card, and that adds labels to the outside of your bar. And you also have the option of putting them on the inside as well, and you can choose alignment. And so here we put them on the outside. Labels has its own color filter, and you can apply colors to your labels, and you can adjust the font size. So if you want bright, big pink labels, then here we go. We've got big pink labels. And if you're happy with all the changes that you made, you can save your chart. And if you click on the tab and pull up the context menu here, you can rename the sheet. So I'm going to call it Red Horizontal Sheet. And you want to make it publicly viewable probably, so you can save the visualization. And you do that by clicking on Save to Tableau Public. And it's going to ask you to log in with your email address and password into Tableau Public. And if this is the first time that you've logged in, you can create a login for yourself for free. And at the top of the Tableau Public screen is a Edit Details button. And you can also make edits to the chart right here, a limited number of them. And remember that once you publish something on here, it's public, so keep that in mind when you're creating charts. Any data that you put here is visible to anybody. If you click Edit Details, you can change things like the title. You can add a link to another page where you have embedded your chart beside Tableau Public. You can also add a description. And if you want the data to be downloadable by other people, there's a box that you can check here to allow other people to download your data. When you do this, here is what I'm going to show you. Once you do that, and you want to display Tableau visualization in a website you have or a LibGuide, someplace other than Tableau Public, then what you're going to do is click on the share icon here. And you need to get the embed link, and this is this pulls up a pop-up window where you can either get a link that takes you to this visualization on Tableau Public, or you can embed the code and put it on another web page, or social media or something like that. So if you want to do that, you want to copy your embed code. This is what the embed code looks like. Copy all of that, and then you can paste it. You can paste it on your website or LibGuide or wherever you want to have the chart show up. Or you can just have a post it to Tableau Public and create a page for yourself, and it's going to stick it on this dashboard. And anything that you save to Tableau Public is going to end up on this dashboard. You can rename your page, whatever you want it to be. And this is a gallery of all the visualizations that I created and put on Tableau Public. So you see I have 4 of them on here. And if you want to take any of them off, all you have to do is select a chart and click on the trash icon. And that is going to delete the workbook that contains your data, and it's also going to remove disable the links to the visualization. They'll cease to function. So if you're using the embedded links, those are going to stop working since you just deleted your visualization from Tableau Public. Alright, so let's say you want to change your bar graph to a pie chart. Then what you're going to do is you just can click your pie icon from the Show Me tab. And then let's hide the Show Me tab, because underneath that you can see what the category labels look like. And they look just like this. And your pie chart is going to be really, really small. So to make the pie chart bigger by trying to grab the borders is just virtually impossible. So the better, easier way is to hold down Control and the Shift key and then click the letter B a bunch of times on your keyboard, and that's going to increase the size of your pie chart. And you can make it bigger like this, and then if you want labels inside your pie slice, that's extremely difficult as well. But you can watch a YouTube video on that called Tableau Mini Tutorial, Labels Inside Pie Chart. So just look for Labels Inside Pie Chart on YouTube and you'll find a video on that. So what you want to do to get outside labels is you can drag your loans field on top of the label card, and that's going to immediately put a bunch of labels outside your pie slices. And for your vertical bar, what you're going to do is you're going to flip the fields that are on your shelf. That's all you have to do for that, is flip those fields around, and it's going to turn your horizontal bar chart into a vertical bar chart. So that's pretty easy there. And if you want to turn this into a line and you have a vertical bar chart, from the automatic drop-down menu, select line. That's going to create a line chart. That's the easiest way to create a line chart. Then if you want labels on your line chart, again, you're going to click on the loan field and drag that to label, and that's going to put labels right here. And the other thing we can do is create a bubble graph, and if you have a line chart like this, you have everything you need to make a bubble chart. If you click bubble chart, that is going to create a chart of all of the days of the week, and the size is going to be relative to how many loans for each day of the week. And looking at the relative sizes, it makes it very apparent that Saturday is a very slow day for loans, because that's the very smallest bubble that we see here. So these are some libraries that have created some really interesting visualizations. Iowa State is using a Tableau public page, and they put everything on the Tableau public dashboard. UW-Madison has their collection statistics on a website. Same thing for Ohio State. They also have some public visualizations using Tableau. And then Lincoln University has their reports and statistics posted on a website dashboard. So take a look at those. Those are very interesting. And now we have time for questions and answers.